You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Arrested Development After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Arrested Development After Show.
Hello, everyone. Bing is for doing, and we are doing Arrested Development AFTERBUZZ. Well, I got that one. I got that out. Hi, everybody. My name is Nando Velasquez, and I'm joined first of all, to my right is...
Hi, everyone. Alina Akram.
Yes, and then to my left, first of all...
Roxy Striar.
Yes, and last but not least...
I'm Cathy Kelley.
Yay! All right, we got everything down. So we are doing episode 4 right now, which is the B Team. And this is the second episode that we get to see featuring Michael's Arrested Development. So it's a continuation on where we left off with him back in the pilot. So, well, first of all, Michael is still struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, to play it safe. He's struggling out there, and we see him in a car with a new job.
I love the new car. And I didn't get the ostrich reference at first, but then I don't know. Do you understand that?
Well, I figured it looks like an ostrich because of the way it looks exactly like an ostrich.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know if it went deeper, though.
I wanted to look into that and see if that's really called like a ostrich, either like in shorthand terminology, like over at the place that I guess, should we name it? Because we're sponsored by Bing.
It's Bing.
Okay, it's Bing. Let's say it's a Bing.
I mean, they said that it was, I couldn't tell because it was blurred out, so I think it's just Bing.
Yeah,
they
it was
said
very
it's a search
unclear.
engine company.
It's unclear.
Right?
We just Bing it. We
Yeah.
just
Bing.
something it. Okay, got it. Okay. So, but yes, that company that does Bing Maps. Do they have Bing Maps? They should. They should get on that if they don't.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yes, so Ron is struggling, and Michael is struggling, and he is in a car that's shooting cameras, and it gets a lot of stares.
Yes, I love that. When they said, you're going to get a lot of stares with this car. And he's like, I'm used to a car with stairs.
He has no luck with the company cars. Poor Michael.
No luck with the company cars.
No.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of what's Michael's, last episode we saw with him, he was, we saw how him at his worst, and we saw him really suffering with his son, trying to get into college and stay in college. So now that he is, I was almost going to say making a new start, but that's next episode. But now that he is trying to, what's his plan? What do you think, we're going with Michael?
He's going to be Mr. Movie Producer.
Okay.
Or movie producer. What did they say?
Movie producer,
Movie.
totally.
I don't know. I think he's going to follow his heart. He seems to do that a lot. And we see that will get him into a little bit of trouble, or should I say some rebellious things. Ha ha ha. But yeah, I think he's definitely going to try to be a movie producer.
Movie producer, got
It's hard
it.
to say movie producer
Yes.
for the movies. Yep.
Because we don't know when the housing market will pick back up. Only Ron Howard knows that.
Only Ron Howard knows that, exactly. So, well, if we mentioned I'm going to say it. It's not that bad to say it because it's a part of the show. I'm going to say the Google being aliens. I'm going to say it because I feel like
You said the G word.
it's the elephant that's in the room. Maybe the ostrich, but it's the elephant that's in the room. So I want to know what's going on. I mean, maybe there's another payoff here because I know we're sponsored by Bing, but they're not. So I want to know what's going on. But I think
it's just a funny thing because Google, they do have that movie, The Internship, coming out that is completely like an ad for Google with Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. So I don't think that they would say no to having their name plastered all over a season of Arrested Development.
I guess they figured it's too much of an advertisement for themselves too.
I don't even think it goes that far. I think they just think it's funny.
I think it's
I
so
funny.
they throw it in there, yeah.
Okay.
I agree with Roxy. I think it's hilarious, recognizable, and fun.
Unless Netflix had a thing against them, but I think it's more just a
Okay.
joke.
I do like that it's a company that shoots everyone's private property, but we can't say it. In all fairness, it is their property, so I kind of like that little thing. So.
And on a side note, it is so scary that they can shoot all of our property like that. Have you guys gone on the He Who Must Not Be Named Google Maps site?
Yes.
scary crap there.
Is that how they really do it though?
Yes, I've
Yeah.
actually seen those cars driving around, especially you'll see them a lot of the times in new development, which is kind of funny. That's where Michael is.
You mean Arrested Development?
Yes. But you'll see them driving around to, whenever a new house goes up or something like that, so that
Creepy.
they can get
I
a
didn't know that's
visual,
how they
a
did
street
it.
visual, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's really interesting, especially if you look up all the funny images that the car sometimes picks up. So,
Yes.
but anyway, let's move on. So, he's getting a call from his lawyer, Barry Zuckerkorn, who is he's in his own case as well, his own court case as well, which he is. He's always been very ambiguous with his sexuality and what he's interested in. He's almost like Tobias in a way. I'm surprised, and I guess he is. He's busy fighting whether or not he got into a schoolyard of some sort. So, but I have to bring this up because one thing I noticed in this episode is, well, first of all, he's cursing the hell out of Ron Howard, which I think is hilarious considering it's Henry Winkler. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's just a running joke. We never hear him curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but the second he said Ron Howard's name, he's like, "You want me to tell him to bleep off? I'll tell him to bleep off. I'll tell him to, That's the first thing that's hilarious. The other thing is we see Scott Baio.
Yes.
Scott Baio is
Bob
his lawyer.
Loblaw.
Bob Loblaw.
Finally, he's
Fine.
back.
I'm so happy. I love that. And with the Bob Loblaw. Law bomb.
Yeah.
Law bomb. No, but today he had the law bomb. He set up the Bob Loblaw law bomb.
Say that 5 times fast.
I can't say it once.
I can barely say it once. Anyway, so as Zuckerkorn is reaching over the door, he refers to the handle to the latch as a chachi. As a chachi. And for those of you who may not be old enough, Scott Baio's character in Happy Days was Chachi. So which is brilliant, but I'm gonna wow you even more. If you go on Netflix and you do subtitles for Chachi for the whole segment, it's spelled differently than it's spelled in Happy Days. It's spelled Chotchie, and for the hell of it, I looked it up.
You binged
I
it.
binged it. For the hell of it, I actually did bing it. And what comes up, the first thing that comes up is the Urban Dictionary. And I've never heard this term before, but the word chachi, which is chach for short, can be used to describe a male that fits into any one of the following categories. 1, someone that is oblivious to the obvious. 2, has no sense of style. 3, pursues a woman who is way out of their league. Or 4, trying to be someone he's not, which kind of fits
Tobias.
Well, it fits Tobias, but it fits Zuckerkorn
Henry
too.
Winkler, yeah.
It fits
Yeah.
Zuckerkorn to a T. So it's just an extra layer,
Yeah.
which I think is hilarious. And also when you bing Chachi, it also says, "Did you mean Chuchi?" which means something totally different. So don't click on that.
Thank you for warning us about
Yes.
that. I will not.
Absolutely. So anyway, so
Everyone is at home right now.
I just got to run into that. Anyway, so we move on to Imagine. So Michael gets his meeting with Ron Howard, which is fabulous and really awesome because we get to see Ron Howard as a character and not just the narrator. So what do you guys think of how satirical? This was a very satirical episode.
It's very satirical, and I love that. There have been talks for many, many years that they were going to make an Arrested Development movie, and then they also referenced
The Andy Griffith movie.
Andy Griffith
Right.
movie, which never came to fruition, which I just thought was so funny. And then also, having the Apollo
13 spacecraft.
The
Yeah.
spacecraft.
in his office.
Because those conspiracy theorists think it's fake.
And God, I forgot what it was. How he saw it on the set of what movie was it?
Oh yeah,
forgot
right.
the
The
movie
film.
he
It was
named.
called
Great.
something.
Gentle Ben, I think?
No, yeah, Gentle Ben is
I
what
think
it was.
Gentle Ben. Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, and it's hysterical, and you know that all this stuff is going to come back at some point. Like, anytime they say something really quickly, a name, a place, I always try to write it down, because every time it comes back.
Yeah.
That's why the show is so brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
It is. And it's so intermixed with the episodes we've already seen as well that I get confused as I'm watching. I'm like, wait, how is that connected to what we saw last time?
I
Right.
really want to say that is not soundproof. That later in the season we might find out that either there's like a recording thing in there, or I just, since they said it was soundproof so many times, I feel like it's not soundproof.
Oh, I think you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on
That's
there.
a good guess.
Maybe
Yeah.
something with Kitty in there too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So we get to see Kitty, which is one of my favorite characters. I mean, Bob Loblaw definitely, but Kitty is awesome, and Kitty is a D girl at Imagine, which means something completely different than what you would think of first thing. So D is in development girl.
Yes.
I love how she says, I'm not going to show you my bleep you pig, but her ID card is aliased out like she shows her boobs.
So how'd you get this job, Kitty? What, you think that women can't have high power executive jobs? I knew someone.
He's like, well, excuse me, but are you sure you meant new?
Yeah. No, my favorite part though was, no, you watch your back when she's yelling at him.
Oh
After.
my God, that was so awesome.
Too funny.
So it
Too
turns
funny.
out that maybe got her the job.
Yeah.
Way back when, and Kitty was the one that ended up getting rid of Maybe.
Yeah, burying the body.
If Maybe got her the job when she was 17, how old does that make Maybe now?
Like 21?
21? Yeah, something like that. I mean, she's in college. Well, the time,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
shifting
confused
so
about the time
much
frame.
that
Also,
it's kind of hard to
Yeah,
figure that
because
out.
they're going through like 2 years or 3 years or basically whenever.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to figure out when we see flashbacks like that, how long ago it was, because it's still, we're confused on the timeline, or at least I'm a little confused on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cute to see her, and any scenes with Maybe, I'm glad to have them because they're few and far between right now.
Yeah, and I was curious to see what happened with Maybe's movie career or script writing career, and it's good to see that.
It's good to see a resolution to that,
The
and why she's in
resolution.
college and why
There's
she
some
stopped being an
Arrested
executive.
Development there.
Some Arrested Development there, exactly. I gotta say, I do love a lot of the references again. Imagine having the second tallest building next to Jerry Bruckheimer,
Yes.
having those super big billboards just to compete, like which is the taller one. That felt very fun, and also the ceilings and also the ceiling,
The low ceiling's
the
the
low
funniest
ceiling.
part.
But I was gonna refer to the billboard saying that Imagine is where dreams drop into make believe as surely as a drop of water falls into a bigger thing of water in slow motion. How they totally just describe their opening shots,
Yeah.
which is awesome. We also get to see John Krasinski later on in the episode working for Bruckheimer, which I
Yes.
thought was funny. He said, "You charred my tree.
We
You're not
see
charring my tree."
We see Altitude Magazine again.
Oh yeah, we see Altitude
and
Magazine.
the whole reason Ron Howard seeks Michael.
Here's what's interesting about that whole series with the Altitude Magazine. Ron Howard actually did a photo contest where he made a movie out of viewer submissions of photos. So he was making a joke to his competition, Project Imagination. So again, there's a lot of inside stuff that
The
you
Da
don't.
Vinci Code is
That was
a
hilarious.
picture of the Da Vinci Code getting acquired by the rights were acquired
That
by
was
his
so
company,
brilliant.
so-
That was hilarious.
Such an awesome shot.
And just the picture of Michael going like this, oh my God, it was so sad and funny.
We totally go back to that too. So anyway, so Michael becomes a producer, just as easy as that. He is now a producer.
Mr. Movie
So
Producer.
With business
Yeah.
cards already.
with business cards.
With the catch of getting signatures for the releases.
Absolutely, he has to get signatures for the releases, which I believe he had to kind of do this before back in season 2. I think it was something similar. But now he's a producer, and he doesn't really want to do it, but he.
And he learns why his dad won't sign, because if you don't sign, you're
Well,
fine.
we're gonna
In the
talk.
flashback.
We're gonna talk about his dad because I have some theories about his dad. Maybe it's predictions, maybe it's not. But what I do want to bring up is Ron's supposed to get family signatures, but instead he decides to go further and get this super powered group together.
The B team.
The B team,
B-team.
which consists of you guys can
Carl
bring it up.
Weathers.
Who I love.
Warden Gentle.
Yes.
Yes. And Warden Gentles, I love that he was at Jeremy Bruckheimer's studio earlier doing a
Exactly.
pitch with him.
That's when John
And
Krasinski.
he was getting all the pitches mixed up.
And Andy Richter, and I love that scene with Conan too. It was too funny.
Conan
Funny.
was great, brilliant in that. But both that and at the very end with
Yeah.
that whole little next week on Arrested
A
Development.
little
Rocky,
plug
the
for our
brother.
boss, Maria Menounos. She will actually be on the Conan O'Brien show in the next couple weeks once they
Look
come
at
back from
that
hiatus.
Segue.
Yay.
You know what? Speaking of Maria Menounos, we should also bring up, I believe, that Maria has a movie that's out right now on
Yes.
iTunes.
The Adventures of Serial Buddies. It is absolutely hilarious. A comedy that kind of is like Dumb and Dumber meets Dexter. Two serial buddies, serial killers, go on a road trip together of a lifetime, kill 1 million people along the way, and it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
So you can find that on iTunes, and it just came out May 29th.
Yeah, so about a week or
So,
so ago.
Yeah,
And
we
it's
don't.
super cheap.
Yeah,
It's doing really well.
It is, yeah.
Amazing, yeah.
It's like only $5 to. It's like $4 to rent, $5 to buy, I think, or 5 and 6. So it's really good.
yes.
It's totally worth it.
So support us and the team and keep the lights on in this place.
Exactly.
Yes. So, one thing I want to bring up, which I think is interesting, we've been seeing Ostrich references every single episode.
Yes.
So this one was the Google car. What I'm really I just noticed this. I see Dr. Seuss references in every single episode. Carl Weathers grabs the Grinch doll, but he calls it a cringe doll. So there's yet another Dr. Seuss reference. The only one I haven't seen.
We said last week was the Cat in the Hat.
The Cat in the Hat, I noticed. That was really subliminal.
When Lindsay was...
Somehow I noticed that one. That one just kind of almost snuck by me. But I'm noticing, I have to go back to episode 2 because I think that's the only episode I haven't noticed a Dr. Seuss reference.
Dr. Seuss, Charlie Brown.
Oh, the Charlie Brown one with the
Charlie
music.
Brown, the good grief. Yeah, the good grief. I just love that one. But I had to bring that up. And then and then I love seeing Andy Ricker back and bringing it back, especially we got to see his twin, one of his...
Rocky, the twin.
Yeah, Rocky.
P.S. Going back a little bit, Ron Howard saying that it would be fun to see Michael's wife die.
Oh, God.
On screen.
He goes, oh, gee.
That would be fun.
Well, yeah, wouldn't it be more fun?
Well,
I
again,
guess that would be fun.
So it's so
Magic of the
satirical.
movies.
Yeah, the magic of movies, right?
We're about to get to my favorite part of the episode, though, where You're Simply the Best is playing, and the Dream Team, the B Team, is walking through the hallway, and it's on the iPad. Oh, my God. Jumping back forward. That was my favorite moment of the entire episode. And they just looked like such a mess of a team. They were trying so hard. I don't know why. I thought that was so funny. You guys are like, it was okay. I don't know. I thought it was...
It was
No,
cute.
I love
loved
that.
it.
I
It was
love that part.
hilarious.
That
That
was
was
my
amazing.
favorite too.
Great scene. Some really good little comedy bits.
Yes.
That just perfect timing and everything.
And I think I've watched this episode like 2 or 3 times at this point,
Yeah.
and there's still things that I'm picking up on.
There's so much that I want to mention about this. I'm going all over the place if I do, but it's just some crazy stuff. Oh, and speaking of going back, I also wanted to do a shout out. We were talking about Chachi before.
Yes.
There was another Happy Days reference where Henry Winkler flashback with his son. Doing Barry Zuckerkorn and talking about don't have a signature. His dad doesn't have a signature, and he never gets him a birthday card, just money orders. When he has this brilliant idea, his son, or rather, Zuckerberg Jr. Zuckerberg is that his name?
Zuckerkorn.
Zuckerkorn.
Zuckerkorn. That's what I meant.
Zuckerberg is the one that made Facebook.
Yes, you're right.
And Michael
Zuckerkorn.
Cera is the one who made, George Michael is the one who made Face Block or whatever.
That's right. I'm mixing so many metaphors right now. No, but actually, there's an A. In the flashback, you see Zuckerkorn go A.
Oh.
Like the Fonz.
Like the Fonz. So
Yeah.
they're definitely throwing a lot of little Happy Days references.
And as we mentioned in a previous after show, that's actually the Zuckerkorn.
Sorry, I got you saying it.
Guy from the flashbacks is Henry Winkler's real son.
Yes.
So
Absolutely. So it's like an extra little layer there, which is really, really awesome. But anyway, so let's move on from that. We're going all over the place here. But again, there's so many good things to talk about. It's really hard to
It's
isolate.
hard not to go all over the place, especially when that's how the show works,
Yeah.
They're jumping back and forth, so we get to jump back and forth.
All right.
So Carl Weathers, I loved how when Michael first approached him, it was just to get signatures that he had acquired for his, what was it called?
Scandal Makers.
Scandal Makers
Yeah.
episode of the Bluth family. But it turns out he had never gotten the signatures. He was going to ask for forgiveness
It's
after.
easier to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission.
But he didn't do either.
Neither. They did neither, though.
And that his very last episode was about himself.
yes.
That was the best part of the whole thing. And that we see debris in it. Amazing.
Oh, it's awesome. We see debris and we see that whole
And
hospital
she's
thing.
completely cracked out on
Absolutely.
On Method 1 Clinic?
yes,
Yes.
at that point.
Totally messed up. So we definitely get to see some Tobias that looks like it's going to be a flash or like foreshadowing of Tobias's episode, which we saw the next episode, so we know it is. But just to say, and I love that. Also, shout out to Andy Segunda, who was Tobias's partner in that scene. I actually know him too. So anyway, so that's Carl Weathers, and then Gentles. What I love about Warden Gentles is he can't operate the iPad like as we saw,
Hilarious.
but you know what? Michael couldn't operate his iPhone in the first episode either.
Oh.
So they have something in common, which I don't know if that's something to take note of, like
Yeah.
multiple people, but usually when they do, there's a reason. So I have a feeling that maybe it just shows how inept everybody is.
Yeah.
If anything, it just highlights that. And then, of course, Andy Ricker, and we mentioned the Conan thing, which is hilarious, and also a dig on Conan and the female writers, just pulling female writers into his,
But it's so
his
great. He's such a good sport about it. You know, I love when people can make fun of who they are and, you know, just take it and laugh with it instead of being, like, self-conscious about it. So it was a funny dig.
Yeah.
People know,
So
it's good.
let's talk briefly about Michael getting his signature from George, because I think this is a really, really interesting scene. So what do you
I
guys
love
think?
that he's at Orange County Imagine and right next door to OC Imaging.
Yes.
And he keeps getting the patients.
It's just one letter difference.
Yes. So smart.
And that very end with the hernia, you think he's talking about somebody, like talking to a producer, and he's like, trust me, it's a hernia. So now he knows he's like almost a doctor.
Yeah. So cute.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, one big telling thing is we saw a very quick snippet in the first episode of the season of George and Lucille, which we never saw before. They were showing all previous episodes, and they added that one. So we see George with Lucille too,
Right.
which is really, really interesting. And I don't think that's George. So I actually think that Michael was trying to get a signature, and it was
From
Oscar.
Oscar.
I thought that as well. The first time I watched, I was like, why is George being so nice? Like, why is George Sr. being so nice and giving his signature? I wonder if it's Oscar.
Well,
Oh, so-
no, but George was being mean in
Yeah.
that first
Yeah.
the first scene and being nice in the
Yeah.
second one. I think, and maybe this is a prediction, I think that it's actually Oscar that we see first with Lucille.
I definitely agree because he was very like back and forth. I couldn't tell whether
Yeah.
we're saying he was being mean, but he really was kind of hanging on Michael's every word. And before Michael says nice, like I feel like he was almost about to sign on.
Yeah.
And then Michael said nice, and he was like, "Screw you, I'm out of here.
And
I'm
he
not
walks
doing
out.
this." So I think that's a good prediction.
Yeah. So
I could get on that page.
you can get on that page. All right.
I can be there with you.
Cool. All right. I appreciate that. I got your approval on that.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. All right.
Hey.
Awesome. Hey, 2 thumbs up. Yeah. So one thing that we haven't talked about yet, which I think is awesome, is Isla Fisher as Rebel.
Rebel Alley.
Yeah, Rebel Alley.
And so you threw out some facts about Ron Howard and everything else earlier, or Tchotchke
Yeah.
and Happy Days. I have some facts about Ron Howard.
Ooh.
He actually has 4 kids, 3
Okay.
daughters, and 1 son. And Bryce Dallas Howard, his
She's a great actress.
daughter, is an actress. They
Yes.
all have red hair. They're all gorgeous. And Bryce Dallas Howard was in The Help. She was in Spider-Man 3 as Gwen Stacy. She was in
the Twilight movies?
50-50 Twilight movies. So, yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of like life imitating
Yeah.
art, as they do so much in this series.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a dig. Well, again, Ron Howard has no problem digging on himself.
But I was wondering why she's not in Arrested Development.
That's
Isn't that
interesting, too.
weird?
That's-
Yeah.
Like, you think instead of Isla Fisher, they should have cast her?
Yeah.
That would have been great. I mean, considering Ron Howard's playing himself, why can't his daughter
And
play herself?
I wonder if she will be in later in the season.
Well, first of all, Bryce is not single. She's married and has I don't know. You can check, but she has at least 1 kid because I believe she was pregnant. I think when she was doing the lady on the lake.
Yeah,
they
that
showed
is
her on
true.
one.
Is her
Yeah.
kid's name Lem, and he's about to be 6 years old? Because
That would
some-
be
That would
interesting
be
too.
hilarious. We should look that up.
That would be well. You want to bring up Lem because you brought this up. I don't want to take credit for it.
Bringing up Lem, so we learned that Lem is the name of the ship, that the soundproof.
Well, first of all,
ship.
when they're talking about their kids, let's set it up. Then when Michael and Rebel are talking about their kids, she mentions her child's name is.
Well,
Lem.
that comes after we already know that the spaceship's name is called Lem. You know, we're sitting there and they're
Oh,
in
yeah.
it, and he's like, "Do you want to come?" Ron Howard says to Michael, "Do you want to come into Lem with me? Come here." And he's like, "Oh wow, what is this spaceship type thing?" He's like, "Oh," and explains the whole story. And then later on, when Michael is out with Rebel and they're having drinks, she very casually drops that her 6-year-old son is named Lem.
Yes.
But of course, I watched this 3 times and it went over my head the first 2 times because it's so brief that it's mentioned. But it's interesting because obviously that's a clear tell sign and over Michael's head as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that. Again, you have to catch every little thing.
I know it's hard.
Bryce Dallas Howard has 2 kids, a daughter and a son. Theodore Norman Howard Gable and Beatrice Jean Howard Gable.
There you go. Okay, cool. No Lems.
No Lem.
No Lems. Maybe not yet.
When life gives you lemons.
And my favorite part about the Isla Fisher scene was when she was talking about how if she just makes a character mentally challenged, then she'll thank him in the Oscar speech. And I completely forgot about this part of Arrested Development. And he says, there's a part like that later on.
Charlize Theron, yes.
And then he tries to justify it again, which he always does. He's like, but nobody really noticed that she was actually mentally challenged.
Because she was British.
Because she was British.
I love that they gave Charlize Theron a shout out.
And he's always trying to justify that, and I completely forgot about that whole part of the series. Just an amazing reference right there. I really appreciated that one.
But they play that scene, that first scene when they bump into each other, literally bump into each other.
Cute, and how she was like, I love that part where they're doing the meet cute, and she starts going over like it is a meet cute, and he is
totally
infatuated with her, and she's like,
stuff like crap like that.
Crap like that, yeah, where they bump heads, and she's like, oh.
Well, because what kind of a line is, your hair color is the same as my deceased wife?
Well, that's just really bad.
He was not very cute.
If anybody ever said that to me, I would be like, oh, okay, goodbye. Like, yeah, so, but that's funny because you're right, it's exactly what it is. That was the meet cute, and I don't think he caught on. Do you guys?
Have we ever seen his wife? Because maybe that is Bryce Dallas Howard. Like, it could be played by her eventually. It could be played by her eventually. Or room for.
I don't think they've ever shown the wife.
I don't think so either.
I don't think they ever have. So that'd be really interesting
that
if they
would be
did.
so cool.
Well, again, Ron's playing himself, and actually his brother was in season 1, I believe, as the guy in the tree. That Marky Bark's dad.
Right.
Marky Bark's dad was Ron Howard's brother.
I still don't think is dead.
What was his name? Barky Bark? Or
Barky Bark? Barky Mark?
I don't remember.
I'm messing it up. Barky Bark. We'll say Barky Bark. But anyway, so yeah, Barky Bark's dad is actually Ron Howard's. The actor that is Ron Howard's brother, and it escapes me right now. But he's in every single one of Ron's movies and like some kind of cameo all the time and everything. Which incidentally, up in a tree. Which when he said him and his brother were up in the rafters when they saw the Apollo fake mission, I was thinking like, wow, that's so weird because his character, his brother's character was up in a tree in Arrested Development. So I'm like wondering again, it's like, am I looking too into it?
I don't think you are. I think that it's all.
There's something deeper behind that too. Like when he was saying it was on a sound stage for something. He got like, he almost sounded like a kid, and I feel like that was like a quote from some movie that he was in before or something. I don't know.
That's possible. I don't know. But again, it's just so great. I mean, I would say out of all the episodes, this is probably the one that so far that I want to watch more and more because I really feel like there's just so many layers to this onion of comedy that you get to laugh at and look at and just see.
Sorry.
No,
one other thing that I completely forgot about that I wanted to mention at the Orange County Imagine or whatever where Michael works is that they had fake movie posters behind and I don't know if you guys caught them.
No.
There was like Angels y Diablos, and I think they were all like spoofs off of movies that had actually come out. So they did the posters to look like them, but they weren't the actual ones. Yeah, so there was a Russell Crowe movie in there and like a bunch of other stuff. But if you pause it, you can
do you think because it was Diablos, you think they're trying to throw this whole Mexican thing in there, the whole Spanish, and just keep referencing it? And just the porn magazines has to be mentioned. Nobody said anything. I don't even have anything specifically to say. Just it has to be mentioned in there.
Yeah.
He's living in Mexico.
Oh yeah. Oh God. I forgot the name. I'm not going to even say it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it because I'm going to
remember.
I had it. I didn't write it down because I was focused on the fact that they were arguing about this is just like the kayak. The bleeping kayak. So I was trying to figure out what's the kayak from. Is it something in the future or and again I really think that was at George. Well, again, one was George and one was Oscar. I think the one in the imaging
You don't think they were the same person?
They were not the same person. One of those two appearances was Oscar, and I think it was the first one when he said he didn't want to sign. When George showed up the second time.
So you think George Sr. really signed the release?
George Sr. really signed the release, but the first time Michael didn't know that was Oscar.
I have accidentally seen the episode in the future, and they explain that, and I don't want to give it away.
Then don't give it away.
But
yeah.
What was the other thing?
Accidentally.
It was on Instant Play, so I saw all of it.
Okay.
Happens to the best of us.
I've been loyal.
Me too.
I know. I'm not gonna do it anymore.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
It's an addiction.
But you know what? This sounds like the perfect time to get into predictions then, right?
That's what I wanted to say. I love how they had the you don't know if he's gay or not thing because he had the senor porn as well.
Oh yeah.
So that's a running joke with pretty much everyone in the family.
Just about everybody right now at this point. So, but anyway, let's move on to predictions. Why don't we do that?
It's hard to do predictions when we do the 2 episodes in a row.
Well, it is, but it's not because, all right, we know that the next episode that we're about to do momentarily after we wrap is Tobias. So we can do predictions that are not about Tobias, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either about Michael or about George that you didn't see or about any of the other characters.
Do we think that Michael and Rebel are going to end up together?
Yes, at some point in the season.
But long term? Short term?
Just for this season. If they make another one, I don't think they'll be together. Because Michael seems to have a different love interest every season. It was Marta, then it was
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron was in season 3, but Julia
Dreyfus,
Oh, yeah.
she was a love interest for a little bit. So I think that it's pretty much every season he has a new one.
He sure knows how to pick them. Maybe this is Mrs. Right.
Maybe.
Rebel.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, as far as I think we have a couple of predictions here. I mean, my prediction, which you kind of know more or less, you have an answer, but you won't tell me, is that is that Oscar was the first appearance by George was really Oscar. I would say that. I love the prediction. You could say the prediction about Lem.
We can't because that's an episode in the future too.
But you do feel that Lem. Well, I guess that's true. So.
I guess I don't know. I feel like Jeremy Bruckheimer is going to be brought up a lot more, and like it would be interesting if Lem was Jerry Bruckheimer's son or something like that, because we don't know who is the father of Lem right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they keep
and that would be
referring to
very
him.
rebellious.
Check that out. So, anything from you, Alina?
My prediction is it wasn't George Sr. that signed the release, and it could have been Oscar.
So you think it's the opposite than what I thought?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it could have been Oscar both times.
So one of us will be right, and one of us will be wrong.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good.
And
50-50.
I think Rebel will help Michael with his movie producing career, because now he's sleeping with the right lady, or hopefully.
She might be right, but she might be right, but she's a failed she's kind of a failed actress in this.
I want to know
her
when
dad's
he
Ron
finds out
Howard.
that that's not Ron Howard's mistress, it's his daughter. Like, when is that going to happen?
He thinks he thinks his partner has 2 boys.
Yeah. What about getting the signature from his son? Do we think he'll be able to do that, or that he'll want to distract that privacy and disrupt it?
I think he will.
Think so? And he said that he got kicked out before for disturbing his privacy. Do we know exactly what that was about?
Maybe get all the signatures from everyone several years ago. So I wonder if maybe we'll help him out with that, because she got all the signatures on the boat in season 3.
Maybe.
And
Perhaps.
gave them all money.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Well, this and more questions will be answered on a future episode of the Arrested Development, which we will have an AfterBuzz podcast for. So till then, where can we reach you, Cathy?
You can find me on Twitter at Cathy Kelley.
At Roxy Striar.
On Twitter at _Alina23.
And before I say my name, hey, go on iTunes and give us 5 stars and rate us and talk about rate and comment.
Yes,
I almost said that, but you can also find me at Nandovel, Nandovel, and we'll be back very shortly with the next episode of Arrested Development.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.